This is the speed of tactile information processing test. We have the test manual in the blue cover, and then we have the test itself. The first one here is for ages 5 to 8, and then in the yellow cover for ages 9 to 12, and lastly the third one for ages 13 to 17. I'm going to start by having a look at the one for ages 5 to 8. Now this one here has been raised, so we have pages of raised shapes. And we start off with page A, which it says at the bottom, and this is just the introduction and the warm-up, so this is not part of the assessment itself. And we're going to ask the child to look at the first row and tell you the one that is different. This test is designed that the child doesn't need to speak, and the instructions say that the child just needs to tap the one that's different, and then move on to the second row, third row, and so on. Then there's another trial page where you ask the child to do the same, but this time you time it, and you can record the time, but it doesn't count because it is just the trial. But again, you're going to tell them to find the top row, and once they found it, you're going to tell them that they can start. So once they found it, say go, start your timer, and again watch as they go down each line, and stop your timer when they have tapped their last shape on the bottom line. And that is the time that you take. So it'll give you an idea and give the child an idea of what to expect as the test starts. So when we turn over, this is the next page and the test starts for real. So you time them and you note any that they get wrong. Then we move on to the next page and then the final page. And each time you note the time that's taken to do that page. So at the end you'll have 3 times of the time it took them to do each of the pages in the test for real. And take a note. Now I'll quickly go through the next 2. This is the same idea. There's a warm-up pages, if you like, but this time it's Braille numbers. I'll just see if I can make that seen a little bit more easily. And the child reads the top row and then they tap the number that is the largest. So quite simple to start off with. We've got single digit numbers. This is a warm-up, a second warm-up page here as well. And then this test begins for real. Same thing applies. Make sure the child taps the number that's the largest, and then you're timing as well. So you're emphasizing both speed and accuracy. And there are 3 pages, and you do the same for each one. The final book for ages 13 to 17 is exactly the same, just the numbers are 2-digit numbers and 3-digit numbers here. So 2 warm-up pages, and then we have 3 pages of the test itself. So if we look at the test manual, I should point it out just very quickly. It says on the front, we've got items A and B, these are the practice, if you like, and then 1, 3 and 5. But it's just the next 3 pages. It does that in each book. I'm assuming that in the original there may have been other pages that were taken out. So just wanted to show you very quickly how to score. So at the back of the manual, here we have the score sheet with just some fairly basic information required at the top. And then here, so this is for the first book that I showed you. So for the first page, you can do the A and B if you like. But this is the important part really, because these are not going to be scored, the trials at the beginning. So you're going to note down the time for the first page, that will be in seconds, so you've got your stopwatch, and the number of errors, and in the second page and the third page. So in terms of the time and the errors, if there are no errors or there is one error, then that is fine. We look at the time, and so let's just say the child did it in 22 seconds. We would go along and we get to the range of 20 to 24 seconds, and this is for the whole page, remember, and they would score 4, so that's a number that we'd put in the box here. If, for example, they had taken 22 seconds and there were 3 errors, you do not score it, so it would just be 0. So for the second page, which is numbered 3 for bizarre reasons, let's just imagine there were, you did it in, I don't know, 26 seconds. So again, and there was 2 errors, then it would be 0. For the final one, if there was 1 error and 30 seconds, I'd go along 29 to 33, so that'd be 3. So 4, 0, 3, and they would have a raw score of 7. If we then flip back to this page, this gives us our raw scores. So a raw score of 7 would give you an ability score of 81. And we could compare that if we had other children. So imagining if you could, on the next set up, you would think of 81, well, maybe getting 4 correct on the 7, 9 and 11 set. So it gives a little bit of a comparison. So anyway, 7 as the raw score gave you 81 as an ability score. When we go on to the next page, we can also then look that 81 gives us 52 as a T score as well. That's really just a technical thing which may be useful to educational psychologists. And then what we can also do is take our score and find out what percentile it fell in. So 82 gives you the 38th percentile. So that means that 38% of the population did less well, and 62 did the same or better. So, and again, these are all interesting data that you might want to share with an educational psychologist. It works in exactly the same for scoring the other 2 booklets. So 0 or 1, then the time counts and you get your score. And if there are more than 2 errors or 2 errors and above, then it's an automatic 0. So that is the speed of tactile information and processing test, or STIP.